So I welcome everyone to the Shelton School District Board of Directors meeting on September 28th. We're already to the end of September, almost a month of school down already. So please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you, Bob. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you very much. So have board members had an opportunity to look at the agenda? We do have an addition to the agenda tonight, item 4.05 under reports and recognitions, which will be the minimum basic ed requirement program that we hear every year at this time. There's any discussion or a motion?
Okay. I move that we adopt the agenda with the addition of item 4.05.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt the agenda. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, the agenda is adopted. So moving on to item 3. Item 3 on our agenda is the community comment portion of our meeting. I'll go ahead and read our community comment statement. As part of the regular school board meeting, the board invites community members to make public comments in person and by phone as conditions allow by calling the phone number on the district website and entering the meeting ID number. Our public comment procedure allows each person 3 minutes to speak, and comments will be heard during the community comment periods as listed on the agenda. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, the board is not allowed to discuss items not on the agenda, but may direct the superintendent to follow up on issues that arise during public comment. Please be mindful of how you present your testimony, as the board will not allow complaints against an individual staff member or student in open session unless that individual has requested an open public hearing. Please follow the comment procedure by stating your name when recognized by the board chair. All right, at this time, I'm seeing that we don't have anyone called in to make a community comment. Is there anyone else present who would like to make a comment at this time?
Maybe we could review the procedures for raising their hand.
Sure, Bob.
Okay, for those individuals who call in, *6 mutes or unmutes you on your microphone for the phone, and *9 will raise your hand, which brings you to the top of the attendees list and makes a notice that we can see, and then you will be called on by the identification of your phone number.
All right. So I'm going to pause here just in case someone is attempting to call in. There will be a second community comment period later in our meeting. So if you're unable to call in at this time, after the superintendent's report, there will be another opportunity as well. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on to item 4, reports and recognition. Item 4.01 is introduction of the 21-22 high school student school board representative, Richard Beckmann. Mr. Jesse.
Thank you so much, Board President Carr. Yes, so at our last meeting, we had an opportunity to meet Quinn Martin, who is the student representative on the school board from Cedar High School. And this evening, we got a great opportunity to have Richard Beckmann, who is the student rep on the school board from Shelton High School. So I see that he is on this call, so it's awesome. For you, Richard, if you could just go ahead and let us know what's been going on so far in the school year and what you look forward to doing as part of a representative from the Shelton High School here with the school board. And again, thanks for being here.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Can you guys hear me all right? Okay. The school year, I mean, so far at Shelton High School, me personally, I've been enjoying it, but for a lot of other kids, it's been like kind of rough. There have been so many fights. Like there have been fights every single day consecutively for the last, I think, like week and a half or 2 weeks, and many fights before that. So I think kids are like really struggling in that kind of area. But like with people in grades and stuff, so far most of the people I've talked to, they're doing pretty well. But yeah, so that's going all right. And as being part of the school board, I'm excited to share the voices of my fellow students and try and get things solved in the community and in our school that need to be solved. And yeah, just getting their voices out there. I'm looking forward to that. So yeah.
All right.
Yeah, student voice is so important. I didn't mention that this time. I think I mentioned last time with Quinn. So Richard, absolutely, you're right in the great place. We do want to hear directly from you. We are, trying to build services for students, and you being a student helps remind us about what our work is all about. And so I appreciate that. And just like Quinn, I find you're keeping it real. So please continue to do so, because that will help us improve our work. So thank you. Thank you, President Carr.
Thank you, Richard. It's a pleasure to have you representing Shelton High School. We're really pleased to have you on the board. Any comments from fellow board members?
I just always want to jump in and say we really do value the student voice, and we're so glad that both you, Richard, that you're joining us tonight, and Quinn, that you're here with us as well too. And I can't wait to have a student representative from choice when they get one chosen. It really is wonderful to have you all give us your comments. We go to professional development conferences each year, and they often bring up how valuable it is to hear directly from students, even if it's not what we think we want to hear. So we, definitely keep it real. Definitely let us know, what's going on, because you're there in the schools. So we appreciate having you both take the time to serve on the board. I appreciate it very much.
And I'll go ahead and say, I can second a lot of what Carrie just said. She put it very eloquently. We've not had a student voice since COVID started, so I'm really excited to have 2 representatives so far and look forward to working with you.
Yeah. What Carrie mentioned was we need a student voice, and especially those things that we might be outside of what we normally hear. We do need to hear exactly what's your experiences and the experience of all our students are in our schools. So again, thank you for taking your time, and I'm excited that you're participating in this part of your community, and hope this leads to a lot more leadership for yourselves. So thank you.
Sorry, I'm multitasking. It's really good, Richard and Quinn, like they said, to have a student's perspective. I have the privilege of listening to students on a daily basis that come into my home from my wife's daycare, and it's amazing how much you can get from listening to the students about what's going on. And this is an opportunity to hear about situations before they become problems, before they become a crisis. And so we really look forward to your participation and comments.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. And with that, we are going to move on to 4.02, which is going to be a regular agenda item moving forward. Usually we used to have our student reps go ahead and give a board report like with the rest of the board at the end, but we got to talking about it and felt like a lot of what you have to say is important. We want to put it front and center right at the top of the meeting. So in reports and recognition, we will have a regular report from our student board representatives, Quinn and Richard, and hopefully eventually a representative from Choice as well. So item 4.02, this is the student rep report. So Quinn, would you like to go first with your report? Thank you for joining us. It looks like you're having to join us from your vehicle, and I appreciate that you are making that effort.
Yeah, I just got off work. So that's fine though. Things are going well at Cedar so far. We've started like actual project-based learning in its entirety. So that's a lot of teamwork, that's a lot of collaboration that students are getting used to, and that's a lot of learning and focus. But I think the students are perceiving it like very well, and they're realizing that this is kind of what we came here for. So the first couple of weeks of intro were a lot of worksheets, a lot of classic learning out of textbooks and stuff. But starting this week, we've gone into like our actual group projects, our presentations. We're doing simulated pandemics, as well as some different things in, I know Colleen's math class is going well. And that's a big thing for all of us because a lot of the Cedar population did not have a very good experience with math previous. And that's kind of the whole point of the school. We are having a small issue with a group of people who aren't willing to take in safety protocols for masks and obviously social distancing. But I've been told that that's being taken care of and that it won't be a problem beyond probably next week, which is an ideal timeline for me personally. Otherwise, the staff seem to be doing their best. The students are doing their best to acclimate to the strange times. And I'm excited to see how it goes going forward.
Excellent. Thank you, Quinn. Richard, I know you gave a little bit of a report earlier, but do you have anything else that you would like to share with the board?
Well, like on the bright side, we had a club fair, so we had that this last week, and it seems like there were a lot of kids that were interested in joining a lot of different clubs, so that's great. I think kids really need that right now, especially after not being able to see people for so long, to just have like a club or a community that they can join, and I think that'll be great. So I'm excited to see where that goes. But yeah, and like I'm sure you guys have all heard of like the buses and how that's going and stuff. That's caused some stress. But I think besides that, I think yeah, that's about all.
All right, thank you very much. Fellow board members, do you have any questions or comments for Quinn and Richard?
Richard, I was curious with the club fair, were there a number of the typical clubs, or has that shrunk a little bit, or do you feel like there's a lot of options that are available right now?
So I this is my first year going to SHS, so I don't really have like a perspective of what it used to be. But from what I saw, I mean, there were booths all over. There were noises. Each club wanted to have something cool to attract people to their clubs. There were like driving RC cars, there were robots, there were like people JROTC, they were like twisting guns and stuff. Band was like playing drums. It was super cool. It's like a vibrant environment there. So yeah, and which just goes to show like how there were clubs and everything for a whole variety of people there. So yeah, I think there's something for everybody, and I think there were a lot of clubs that people could go into, so that was pretty cool.
That's great. So with Cedar being on a separate campus, are they able to participate in those clubs as well too? Is that a joint?
Yes. So I know Quinn, actually, there's a club at SHS that's game theory. He participates in that even though he goes to Cedar, right? Quinn, you can attest to that?
Yeah, and also we have a lot of SHS kids who go to our cybersecurity club at Cedar.
Okay, great. Thank you both.
I heard that this week is Spirit Week at the high school. How is that going? I heard about some concerns.
Oh, I haven't heard much about concerns, but I mean, I think it's been going pretty well. And people have been participating. Personally, I participated every day. And I plan to participate for the rest of the week. But well, there have been some like risky choices of showing their spirit, but besides that, I think it's been going well.
Good.
All right, well, thank you very much. Appreciate the reports. And like I said, this will be a regular agenda item that we'll have earlier in the meeting to give you guys a little bit more time and basically a chance to showcase and maybe comment on some of the things that are coming up later. At any time as we're going through our reports and our discussion items, you both are welcome to ask questions and comment at any time. So do keep that in mind as we continue. So working on item 4.03, which is the update on the Met Academy. Brenda.
Good evening, President Carr and the school board. I'm pleased to report that we are getting close to the finish line on that Met project, Met 1. So we had some hurdles to cross, which I'll explain what happened there, but you're going to see a lot of things happening mid-October. We have some major hurdles that we're going to cross there. We're planning the 3rd week of October that we will be moving all of that equipment, all those stations that we bought into that building. We're waiting for the finish work to get far enough done where it's okay to move that in. All of the equipment is on campus being stored right now, so it has arrived. We don't have to worry about delivery. So that will be moving forward. The 3rd week of October is the plan. That same 3rd week of October is busy. We're planning to have that parking lot all done for, and Wyatt's giving me that look. That's our goal, and they're assuring me it will happen by then. The new staff parking lot west of the 400 building, and then the reconfiguration around the Met for the parking, and that will alleviate what we've been experiencing for student parking at Shelton High School, so that's good news there. And then our most significant thing for the milestone is to get to substantial completion, where we get it far enough in October that the city of Shelton can come in and do their inspector's final inspection of that building. Once that happens, we can start letting, Jake Bullington in there a little more and some students in there to get acclimated so we can get going that 2nd trimester, which is December 1st. The summer months, what we ran into there, and this is normal with any construction project, I'm finding through all of these events we've been through over the last few years, but we had some surprises underground. It wasn't a car this time, but we did find pipes that we weren't expecting to be there. Some of the soils didn't support the things that we needed to do underground, so we had to make adjustments. Of course, that impacts the budget when you run into those things, but we're staying in there. I did mention, the cash flow that we're running into, which I believe I have told you before, we might run into not getting the non-high payments till December 1st. So we're starting to head into that. So I'll keep you apprised as we get further into that. But the good news is by the next school board meeting, we should be in our final stages, and we should be proud of that building and for a new program for our students. So.
All right, thank you very much. Any questions or comments?
Thank you for the update, because I do drop my daughters off at OBJH in the morning, and I've wondered and have been meaning to ask, about all of the cars that are parked all around in various places. And I drive past where that Met building construction is. So obviously that is not a parking lot any longer. So I really appreciate the updates on how that is going to impact then what's happening. Is it that the staff are currently able to park in certain places at the high school that they typically didn't, and that then is not allowing for student parking?
Yes, they have been parking in the student parking lot, so that has minimized the number of parking permits we can sell. The YMCA did give us the ability to allow some staff to park over there recently. So Bruce Kipper offered that out to staff to help us get through these next few weeks. But we're almost there. So
yeah, we're almost there, and it sounds like it's going to be a great building with all sorts of opportunities and exciting hands-on programs. So that's very exciting. I've been happy to see the progress as we've been coming along. So hopefully there aren't too many more bumps in the road.
Yeah.
Madam President, I apologize for interrupting you, but Mr. Beckmann apparently does not know what the Met Academy is.
Okay, it is at the high school in the teacher's parking lot, for lack of a better term. We have a new building going in, and I'm not going to get the name right. I just know it. There's a lot of workstations. There's hydraulics, all sorts of things that are hands-on learning for the students. Several of us went up to South Kitsap to look at the program up there, and it's an amazing program. It will give a lot of opportunity to our students here in Shelton.
So like the pathway classes, like in robotics and mechatronics and like welding, automotive, stuff like that, or? Okay.
Yeah. I think MET doesn't stand for mechanics, engineering, technology.
I think you're right. I'm so used to calling it the MET, I've forgotten what it stands for.
Yeah, and it's not mechanics like auto mechanics. It's more on the engineering side of it and robotics, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Other questions or comments?
Are we waiting on any key materials? I know when we were building, the new building with the bond, and doors were a problem and windows and things like that. So where are we with various supplies right now?
We are in good shape. We just ordered some low voltage cabling this last week. It's already arrived here. It's ready to go. So we're lined up to just continue on. So.
And none of the exterior materials are a problem either. So
no, they are. The last time I drove up by there, it looked like all of the outside was pretty much enclosed and done. So I think we're in the inside now doing all of those finishing touches now.
So then weather shouldn't be a problem for the next phase either. So, all right, thank you.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Brenda. So we're going to move on to item 4.04, which is update on operations. Mr. Jesse and Ms. Trogstad.
So
I'll kick it off, Brenda. It's fine. And I'll hand it to you. So we, like everybody else, has continued to experience some challenges around supply lines during the pandemic. Really is around getting us food right now, trying to find, substitutes. The state has eased some of the requirements, and in addition to not charging for meals. And so there's some really good news. The bad news is that it looks like there's not going to be some quick solutions in the near term. This will be an ongoing issue. Literally, I think it's 69 ships in the port of Long Beach down there. And so if things don't come into port, that is going to be a shortage of food. It's such a global market. So for us, we're just working, out there trying to find, again, solutions. Fortunately, we live in a state that does have quite a lot of farms and can reach out and get us food across the state. Challenges still remain also for us around busing. Unfortunately, this evening, I have to announce that Holly Tucker, our director of transportation, is leaving the district. She made her announcement yesterday. She and our lead mechanic are leaving the area. So I just wanted to say thank you so much to Holly. I know it's been a really hard challenge during this pandemic. Never easy to be a director of transportation for any school district. Always trying to find, bus drivers and rerouting things and meeting the needs of kids and families. So I just want to say thank you so much for her hard work, for sure. And then other than that, right now, our facilities are really holding up quite well. So that's the good news. Ventilation, HVAC systems. We really are a fortunate school district with such updated facilities that really helps us, as opposed to older buildings where you're trying to retrofit and there's only so many fixes and gerrymandering you can do with some HVAC systems. You become very limited. So I think that's one of the things we don't really talk about as part of our mitigation for COVID very much. Recently, I'm sure the board talked about that ad nauseum months ago, but it's just something as a reminder for us where we're at. So I'll hand that over to Brenda.
I'll just add a few little details on transportation and food service. And again, I hate to see Holly go. She has been amazing. She's been the most flexible person I have seen through this pandemic of making things work for our schools. So that was a tough one yesterday to hear. So hopefully we can get through that. I'm sure we will, and she's willing to help us out by phone if need be. So that's great. As of right now, we've been canceling about 4 routes daily because of lack of bus drivers. And the little bit of good news for us is with Pioneer shutdown, we will be able to cover our routes this week unless someone calls in sick. So we'll be doing full routes the rest of the week. But once Pioneer opens back up, then we're right back to where we were with having to cancel some routes. I have to say the parents have been great. Holly has been sending out robocalls early in the morning to the parents, and they have been totally understanding about what's going on. So that has been awesome. Food services, we're still facing some challenges, new ones every day. Catherine tells me it's just day by day right now. We are getting 2 deliveries of food a week, but we never know what's going to make it on that truck. She places as much as she can to order, but we've been shorted on every delivery so far. And we also get 1 produce delivery a week, and that one has been extremely short when it arrives. So that's, another challenge. I had to chuckle at her a little bit today. We were having a new challenge. We can't get our paper sacks that we're putting our lunches in. They're totally out of stock. So one of her food service workers knew that, was over at Walmart buying her groceries and saw they had 1,600 sacks. And so she called Catherine. Catherine got in her car, ran over there and bought every one of them. So, I mean, she just, but a lunch takes 1,200 sacks for our elementary. So that's going to cover one day. So she's got some other leads on some more paper bags. So I got to give it to her. She is constantly trying to find ways to get stuff. So, but that's where we're at right now on both of those areas. We'll continue on, but new challenge every day.
All right, thank you. Quinn, I saw you had your hand up. Do you have a question or a comment?
Yeah. Am I unmuted? Is working?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. It's a little garbled, but we can hear you.
Okay. I heard the superintendent mention local farms. Out where I live, there's a lot of local farms. Are we considering buying local produce? Because I was actually thinking that's probably a great idea. I mean, we have working kitchens in SHS, OMS. I don't know if the new Mountain View building has one, but OBJ certainly does, and so does Choice.
Yeah, so Quinn, I only wish that was so true. I know that some of those programs do exist across the United States. We are not currently set up for that. The advantage, though, of the Washington state is what I meant, just as far as supply lines being more local in that sense, and not somewhere perhaps like other states with less, obviously, produce and other supplies. Fortunately, we are one of the ones that produce food, not one that necessarily takes from everyone. But good idea, Quinn.
Other questions and comments for Mr. Jesse and Ms. Trogstad?
I have a quick question concerning transportation aspects. And I'll have to be honest, I'm not familiar with the physical structure of the school buses, but have they considered the what we call the plexiglass COVID barriers like Grace Harbor Transit, IT Transit, and Mason County have installed